Hi folks, Dino Bob here. We're back in Mekele Station, Paleo Reserve. This is episode 10 and it's time to check out the Parasaurolophus Woodland. We're going to start out a little bit back on the trail over by the Psittacosaurus habitat there on our right, moving up toward the Acrocanthosaurus overlook. You can see the silhouette there. And a new feature here on the right is a gateway that the public are not supposed to be able to go through. It's a little dark, so headlight there. You can see the modular door in that gateway. Obviously, the gateway is supposed to allow vehicles through, but if I just built modular, the staff would not be able to get through the wall. So in order to let them do that, to go down the path between the Nasutoceratops habitat and the Parasaurolophus habitat, and still get into the rest of the park, I'm incorporating a modular door, and as you can see, the path ends just beyond it. That's to keep the guests from going very far through that. So there's the door, and then I'm going to incorporate it with modular pieces to create a vehicle door, very reminiscent of medieval European castle doorways, where they would often have a smaller doorway within one of the valves of the gate itself to allow either a sally port or a simpler access rather than opening the whole gate for pedestrian traffic. So this is a little bit of a speed build. We got two more speed builds coming in the course of this video. It's a little bit longer than the last few have been. There's not really that much to say about this one. The idea was to, get a vibe that sort of fit in the park, but didn't clash with much of anything, and just keep it simple and not terribly flashy. You can see the planks were all exactly the same, and I think I skipped covering a little bit of flipping around to make the wood figure on the pieces a little different. And you can see me putting in the reinforcement bars. And that's pretty much it. So let's move further down the path. And we'll come up to the first entrance into the viewing area for the Parasaurolophus Woodland. You can see stairs, you can see a wheelchair lift to their left, and you can see the circular building. We're looking at building that circular building now. Unfortunately, it was done at night, so it took me a while to realize that I ought to have the headlight on for visibility because this was going to be a build. I made this first section, which turns out to be the walkway where most of the guests can see into the habitat. I wanted to make sure it worked well with the fence and the rocks covering some of the fence to affect the visibility into the habitat and give our guests a little more immersive environment rather than just raw zoo fences. The next step was to set up the building as a whole, and you can see me setting up the flooring there and duplicating it to do a radial symmetry to get the floor behaving. It didn't fill some of the gaps on the viewing platform, and you saw an attempt to do that as a group. It didn't work out that great. I wasn't happy with that, so I decided to embrace the problem. And you will see me in a bit once I put in these additional boards, changing their color a little bit to make them a decorative element rather than matching the floor exactly, because the board orientation, there's the color change. The board orientation was pretty obviously not lined up in a radial symmetry, and I wanted to minimize that. So the stairway is in. It needs some more walling. And one of the things I did for this build was, once this was set up, I duplicated it and brought it over to the other side, because the pathing comes around to the other side of the round building, and I wanted a way to come down to that. The roof you see me building here is a separate group from the base of the building, so that I could play games with making sure it was lined up in the right place and not argue with what had come before. So you can see me putting in some more of the wall. We're back in that original group right now, having gotten some of it to the curvature that I needed, but not necessarily all the wall pieces I needed, hence what's happening right now. And it was a little tricky getting the pillars in place so it looked like there was proper support for that roof, at least in terms of the edges of it. And I was also watching to try to keep a good movement flow for guests, so they can get out to that viewing patio. Obviously the grid was such that I needed to drop those columns down a little bit or they poke through the roof. Not a good plan. There's a central tree in the middle of this. I don't know if you've noticed that. So the roof doesn't actually go to a peak, which is a little bit cheap to take advantage of how the modular building tends to work. And I'm using modular fences here to have a little bit of a railing, if you will, at the top of the stone walls, just to discourage our guests from getting over that. So a little bit more of a walkthrough effect at the finished building. Well, for now, finished building. We're looking at the tree in the center there. There's some ferns down on the bottom on the ground. So this would allow, obviously, rain to come in. So this is very much an outdoor kind of shelter rather than an actual building. And there's the overlook into the habitat. You can see the water feature for the animals. Here, there's a smaller secondary one, I believe, in the back. And the other structure that I needed to build for this was the care building. And the first thing I did was duplicate the Nasutoceratops care building from before. But the Nasutos are shorter animals than the Parasaurolophus. So I needed to raise the roof and make the walls taller, particularly with regard to the door, so the animals could get inside the building. So there was a good bit of messing around. And since the Parasaurolophus are larger overall, I did need to expand the building a little bit once I got its height straightened out. And that also meant this kind of ventilation bit to add to the extended wall up toward the roof and ceiling of the animal shelter area. I didn't want the staff area to be quite so big. So, and that's the extension. So there's more space for the animals inside. And all in all, it came together pretty quickly. And once I got the building done, then I modified the fencing for the exhibit so that it included the building. And that's what you're seeing in process right now. Get the visible fence so it looks like it joins the building reasonably, and put in interior fencing as well so that the staff can work with the animals. The idea was that these animals would be relatively self-sufficient. Sorry, talking so fast and stumbling over my own tongue today. And I didn't, since I had the animals already in here, want to break the enclosures integrity while I was making those changes, so that they didn't get the escaped animal award, even though it improves apparently their guest acceptability. So a little bit of looking into the habitat, and this is the back stairway with its corresponding wheelchair lift, and the walk down and around the curve, unfinished area. Coming in the next Mekele Station video, as we extend this building. We're looking back toward the Acrocanthosaurus habitat right here. But yes, the plan is to expand this. This will be the hadrosaur focus section of the park. We go up to take a look at it, and we're going to play with that building pavilion thing that I just built to set up for the next one. So I hope you'll be able to join me then. If you've enjoyed this video, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things help the channel as a whole. Before we go out today, I've got some animal footage with our Parasaurolophuses wandering around their habitat and having a good time. Like a lot of animals in this park, I put them in as youngsters, and they've been growing up while the park's been trundling along. They're still not quite at full growth, I think. That will come along in its time. They seem to be working happily as a group, which is nice, and willing to make noise about it. That was one of the females, I believe. One of the things about the ontogeny and the skins changing is that males, who often have more colorful skins, don't always start with that, and they sort of grow into it. So the colors don't really come in till sexual maturity for the animal. Sorry about the bounce down. Anyway, I think it will either be that expansion for this park in the next video, or it will be a move back to our alternating park for some more expansions. In any case, with that little call out from our Parasaurolophus male, that's pretty much it for today. You all be kind to each other, take care, and I hope you're having a good time with Prehistoric Kingdom. Till next time, this is Dino Bob signing off for today. Bye now.